boss. If you need a tour guide, I've seen all 12 episodes of Terror on Monarch. Kind of an expert.
I'm gonna be able to set foot on the whole of the planet. I know Monarch's a moon. I think it counts anyhow.
I received a very interesting message from Gladys Kilkelly not too long ago. You know, about the toothpaste. The Spacer's Choice trustees will be pleased. I might even get an extra meal voucher. And I hear I got you to thank. So thanks. Efficient. That's Gladys. You should see how quick she knits. Anyone on the station has a baby, she just about buries them in booties.
C&P Borstwurst. It's not the worst unless it's Borstwurst.
You weren't followed, were you? I hope not. Sure is. Welcome aboard, contractor. One of my guys in Stellar Bay has a lead on some high-grade salvage, but he went dark before he could spill the goods. We arranged a drop at the Saltuna warehouse's loading dock. Find whatever he left there and take it to Fallbrook. My gal Catherine will be expecting you. A few of my contractors run flights in there and out again, working around the board embargo. We keep the community lubricated with a steady supply of booze and unconventional erotica. Byzantium kids with more money than sense can thank Sublight for their good time. One of my guys filmed a Raptidon grinding on an automech. Didn't end well for anyone, including the cameraman. When the board pulled out of Monarch, they buried or sealed anything they couldn't carry off-world. Apparently, one of Catherine's teams uncovered an abandoned lab with full tanks of Alta Vitae gas. It's exactly 1 million bits per cubic meter. Before you get too excited, the only thing rarer than Alta Vitae gas is a reliable buyer. Dangerous stuff. Acid for the nuclein in your cells. It's no good to anyone outside of a lab. Now, get going. Catherine will brief you on the details when you check in with her at Fallbrook. One last thing. When you're on the job, keep a pair of eyes in the back of your head. Understood? Could be. You'll do fine. Probably nothing to worry about. Probably.
Yeah, see? We'll be fine.
We're not gonna have to hurt anybody, are we?
C&P Borsted Baked Beans. When you need to eat and run, Borsted Baked Beans is the only one.
The outer system's route lately? Deader than a space caterpillar out there.
Rizzo's Ranger 1. The rainbow.
Where are we headed today, Captain? The stars are the limit.
Hey, Captain. I hope I wasn't too much bother at the bar. I did have fun, and I tried some things I never would have otherwise. Some of the drinks we tried I even liked. I guess it's not all disgusting. And I don't feel it today. I guess that water must have worked. I'm glad I had you looking out for me. I messaged Junlei when we got back, and she replied super quick. Okay. I was awake half the night, thinking about what I sent, anxious to see what you said. I reread my message in the morning, and it was unclear. I was drinking when I sent it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had the courage. Also, sorry for the typos. Oh, she called mashed potatoes smashed potatoes, but I think maybe that's just what they call them on Groundbreaker. I've ruined things in the past because I didn't say things I should have, like, I've met someone who's become special to me. I want to be honest with her, so if she feels the same about me, there won't be any surprises. Yeah. In my defense, it's not like June was all too clear about what she was trying to say. She still ain't. I ought to go write her back. I mean, I already did. Twice. But anyhow, thanks for taking me out, Captain.
Initiating initialization sequences. Greetings, customer! This SAM unit is unable to locate your registered information. Would you like to register your SAM? Registering new owner, Captain. SAM units live to clean and clean to live. Dust accumulation analysis. 2.5 years. Thank you, customer. All cleaning tasks have been completed. Scheduling next round of cleaning to commence in 4 minutes. All SAM units travel fully assembled in a 12 by 12 corrugated steel box. Did you know SAM units are capable of equipping regulation-grade flamethrower nozzles? Upgrade your attachment today and get to firing away. Got stubborn stains? Leave them for Sam.
Так, провести поиск по архивному картриджу ГРО ГИФЕС по ключевому слову оружие. Просмотрите архив ГРО ГИФЕС на терминале Хоторна. Так, найдите научное оружие на Сцилле. Найдите научное оружие Финиаса. Капитан продал Харрису какой-то первопреобразователь и благополучно отчалил. А потом мы поняли, что железка вообще не работает. Единственное, что мы в результате преобразовалось, это биты с картриджа Харриса. Эта штуковина похожа на какой-то прибор или может оружие. Может какой-нибудь ученый сумеет с ней разобраться. Результат номер 2. Доклад о происшествии от специалиста по безопасности. Доктору Колфилду спасти Лема не удалось. Значит, придется арестовать Харриса за его убийство. Орудие убийства конфисковано. Пока что будет в кабинете Берти. Думаю, руководитель разведывательных работ должен хотя бы заполнить бумажки на эту чертову штуковину. Не представляю, где нам держать Харриса, камер у нас тут как бы нет. Результат номер 3. Коронерское исследование. Имя Лемуэль. Фамилия Геррифорд. Занятость принудительный контракт. Срок контракта осталось 35 лет. Приблизительно. Время смерти приблизительно 18:27. Причина смерти – удар тупым предметом. Орудие убийства неизвестно. Крепко отхватил по башке. Если точнее, по лицу. Исковеркано все так, что смотреть страшно. Нос в 5 раз больше, чем надо. Нижней челюсти, считай, вообще нет. Зубы все в кривь и в кость. Но это, похоже, еще до смерти так было. Даже если его не убил сам удар, с таким повреждением дышать не получится. Насыл. Понял. Раньше принадлежал Фрею, после его смерти используется в вашем жилище. Так что, куда поедем? На Сылу ли? На Сылу ли? Либо по сюжетке. Либо к капитану Финиасу. На базу. В лабораторию Финиаса. Давай сначала туда. Потом на Сылу, а потом на Монарх. Я так понимаю, что Эридан, Олимп, Тифон, там и Гефест, там мы, скорее всего, вообще не побываем. Возможно, еще на Тартаре, либо это DLC. Тогда мы, потому что у меня обычное дисковое издание, туда я не смогу отправиться. А расширенное покупать, скорее всего, не буду, потому что, в принципе, мне и так хватит игры. Вот, поэтому я думаю, что, возможно, так. Поехали в лабораторию.
Now arriving at Phineas's top secret orbital lab.
Так, ну что, за оружием тогда? Сциллийское оружие, да-да-да. Оружие Финиаса.
I'll lock up behind you.
Так, беру, значит... О, Сэм можно с собой взять? Давай возьмем его. Так, порвать... Так, возьмем Викария, давай, и возьмем Сэм. Это будет прикольно. Ему, походу, огнемет можно поставить в руку.
Hello? Can you hear me? Does this work? Oh, damn it. Blast, that's loud.
Ну. Так, викарий. Викарий. Давай посмотрим, что у тебя по оружию, викарий. Ты у нас ходишь с дробовиком и с посохом. Давайте я поставлю паразит, а дробовик не буду тебе ставить. Можно было еще вот это поставить тебе. Дробовик это у нас длинноствол, да? Можно было тебе штурмовуху поставить вот такую. Либо даже лучше вот такую, я думаю. Вот так вообще норм будет. Хотя вот это тоже топчик. Пистолет такой. Вот это можно продать будет. Потому что вот это вообще огонь. Модификация 2, она валит писец. Так. И Сэм. Коррозионный мойщик. Но у него нет. Но у него есть прокачка. Базовое здоровье. Так, это что, запугивание? Давай сразу. И еще одно очко есть. Вот это что такое? Снижает потери репутации за убийство, когда в отряде есть Сэм. Потери репутации за убийство. Сопротивление брони, дистанционный урон. И здоровье. Давай вот это вот прокачаем. Вот такие прикольные вещи, их надо прокачивать, они особенные. Так, ну пошли посмотрим, что тут можно вообще. Чем тут можно поживиться. У него в лаборатории. Что-то у него какая-то лаборатория подозрительная, очень похожа на космический корабль. Или даже скорее на базу. Ну, в виде космического корабля. Что это такое за какие-то огромные штуковины? Так, это я не взламываю.
I'm just securing my ongoing experiments. And securing myself.
Да я тебе не враг, чел. Ну, что ты этот...
Mind the mess. I haven't had a visitor since... in fact, I've never had a visitor.
Welcome. Привет. Пухляк. Какая милашка. Так, терминал для исследований Фианиса Уэллса. Я могу рассчитывать движение небесных тел, но не безумие людей. Исаак Ньютон. Заметки по эксперименту. Эврика. В быстро замороженной органике восстанавливается изначальная клеточная структура, если обработать ее раствором диметилсульфоксида. Доля массового разрыва клеток 6%, весьма прилично. Плохие новости, реагент трудно достать. Количество ограничено, вероятный поставщик тетя Клео. Производство недавно было прекращено из-за тяжелых нежелательных эффектов. Нужно узнать подробнее. Следующий эксперимент. 0012. Особь вида шишкач успешно введена в искусственный стазис. 2.17. Реанимация осложнена. Жизненная активность организма восстановлена. Ткани мозга пострадали от резкой нуклеации. Применяю контрмеры. 5.58. Контрмеры продолжаются. 8.20. Контрмеры не принесли результата. Ткани мозга необратимо повреждены быстро развившимся некрозом. 8.51. Массовый разрыв клеток. В 9.49 завершена уборка останков шишкача с пола и стен лабораторий, а также оборудования. Следующий эксперимент. 2.16. С пылу с жару от тети Клео. Экспериментирую с частично эмульгированным заменителем сливок просто космос. 2.18. Состав сварен. Добавляю 55 граммов эмульсии просто космос. 2.20. Тошнотворно. Внутренние отчасти умер. Себе на заметку. Добавить просто космос в список. Заметка номер 2. Докупить ополаскиватель для рта. Заметки про шишкачей. Решил оставить себе одного представителя экспериментальной линии шишкачей. Буду использовать его как возобновляемый источник питательных веществ. Назвал этого счастливчика Пухляком. Когда даешь животному имя, между вами устанавливается особая связь и налаживается эмоциональный контакт. Возможно, даже улучшается вкус шишек, надо разобраться. Пухляк? А, это ж кличка чувака из Little Big. Я думаю, что-то недавно про Пухляка читал, точно. Ему ж дали кличку в сети Пухляк. До чего же чудесные создания эти шишкачи. Не представляю, как человечество жило без этой запредельной мясистости. Этого истинного чуда генетики. Забивать на мясо целую свинью вместо того, чтобы просто собирать постепенно созревающие шишки, опадающие с ее пышного тела. Будто мясные яблоки с дерева представляются теперь самым настоящим варварством. Нет, это настоящее чудо современной науки. Личные дела. Доступ к личным файлам. Обойти. Так, запись такая-то. Договорился в сотрудничестве с неким Алексом Хоторном, капитаном Безнадежного. Надеюсь, название корабля не отражает качество его услуг. Спущу нового сообщника в капсуле к Хоторну, как только завершится реанимация. Из капитана должен выйти приятный спутник или хотя бы приемлемый наставник. Если закон милостив, он окажется неполным клоуном. Это про меня. О, спасибочка. Заметка об эксперименте по выводу из гибернации. Поднимаю температуру еще на 5 градусов в течение часа. Дозировка кажется верной. Есть некоторые отличия в сравнении с шишкачами, но в примерно ожидаемых пределах. Микроскопирование не выявило следов травмы клеток и схлопывания клеточных оболочек. Это радует. Надо убрать за свиньей. Надо осмотреть мозг, что там с нейронами. Ой, рука сорвалась. Последствия? А, ничего страшного. Может сохраниться онемение левой пятки, кому до этого есть дело. Изучаю образец. Есть следы избыточной выработки дофамина и норепинефрина. Любопытно. Зато нет никаких признаков энтропийных процессов в нейронах. Очень волнуюсь. Вот бы они больше не взрывались. Поднимаю температуру еще на 5 градусов в час. Ой, забыл зонд в мозгу, задел его локтем. Подопытный будет страдать от онемения мочки правого уха. Терпимо. Вот ты кривожоп. Забавно говорить замороженному почти куску мяса: все с тобой будет хорошо, Рик. Доброжелательное отношение ускоряет выздоровление. Интересный нейрохимический статус. Побочный эффект длительной гибернации. Подопытный может страдать от тахипсихии. Обостренный отклик на стресс. Проверил мозговые волны, заменил ускорение в процессах восприятия и мыслительных процессах, если трогать зонд. Забавно, скорость обработки, как у мозга обычной мухи. Может быть очень полезно в стрессовых ситуациях, похоже на замедление времени. Все вокруг будет двигаться медленно, у всех на надежде будут такие повреждения головного мозга, и это только Рик от такого страдает. Скорее бы разбудить еще кого-то с надеждой, изучить подробно. Можно ли назвать этот эффект повреждением мозга? Больше похоже на улучшение мозга. Кто станет отказываться от сверхбыстрого мышления? Может, я завидую? Так можно растянуть один вдох на целую вечность. Так можно за мгновение изучить весь мир во всех его подробностях. Температура растет, все стабильно. Никаких признаков повреждения клеточных стенок или некроза нейронов. Начиная следующий цикл 5 градусов за час. Да, пожалуй, я тебе завидую, Рик. А вот и моя капсула, да? Гибернационная камера. Более 4 десятилетий оборудование этой камеры поддерживало в вас жизнь. Остальные колонисты по-прежнему заточены в таких же камерах и ждут, когда вы их освободите. Ой, товарищ, какой же ты ужасный. Что-то мне показалось, что издалека только что это милота. Копыта шишкача. Напоминаю, вижу что-то в системе CX. Да. Что же ты там видел? Ладно, давай пообщаемся. Оружие Финиаса.
Aha! I see you found my portable molecular compression device, better known.
Уменьшающий луч.
Find a target, point, shoot. Your target will shrink down into a manageable size, whereupon you may commence beating them to a pulp. Feel free to try it on a marauder sometime.
Ладно.
Oh, thank the law. Your skin hasn't spontaneously changed color. Potential side effect of the revival process. very rare, but you never know. Right. Welcome to my little habitation, such as it is. I've got caffeinoids, cysty bits, if you're into that sort of thing. So, welcome. Make yourself at home. My secret hideout is your secret hideout. The one I gave you before your pod landed? Ruined beyond repair. Impossible to find replacement parts. That's Halcyon Manufacturing for you. Don't worry about it. I'm reasonably certain you're not going to spontaneously expire. No need to monitor your recovery. Not at all, my intrepid accomplice. I should thank you for tolerating my somewhat brusque manner. I only regret that I couldn't save more of your fellow settlers, what with being hunted by the board, and emptying my supply of necessary chemicals. Of course. What's on your mind? Oh, it's not you. I do experiments in that room. Some of them get quite scientific. The unexpected is to be treasured, but from a safe distance. Regardless, it's quite comfortable in here, you know. I have my beans, have my caffeinoids, plenty of toilet paper. Well done. You'll love Monarch. Exotic climate, violent native species, fascinating culture, really. You'll need to speak with Hiram Blythe. He's known as the information broker, and for good reason. If anyone knows where I can find those chemicals, it's Hiram. I need those chemicals to revive the Hope's colonists. They can help us fight back against the board. They can help us set things right. If we don't put a stop to the board, they're going to drive this colony toward a complete societal collapse. You'll see what I mean when you arrive on Monarch. Oh, I've tried. I haven't been able to get through to him at all. Silence from the system's own information broker? Not a good sign. Oh, could be any number of reasons. Incarceration, a period of copious drinking, a severe case of the sleeping sickness. Better to be sure than to resort to conjecture. You'll want to hire the services of a skilled guide. I recommend a hunter by the name of Nioka. Frequents the drinking establishments of Stellar Bay. Very hard to miss. Once you have everything you need, make your way to Hiram Blythe's compound.
Напоминаю, 14. В этот раз все показатели в норме, надо запомнить. 14, 14, 14. Уменьшающий луч. Запечатано. Себе на заметку прибрать за свиньей. Это медальон какой-то? А, карманные часики. Как? Добро пожаловать в Финиас Уэллс. Кому? Блайту. Отправка ответа нет. Да, действительно, он отправлял сообщение. Причина неизвестна. Текст сообщения такой был. Я разобрался. В деталях объясню потом. Воспроизвести будет трудно. Нужна твоя помощь. Все необходимые материалы должны быть доступны в Алкионе, но место назвать пока не могу. Спустил на Терру-2 возле Эджвотера нового союзника. Он заинтересован в моем начинании, но доверять ему можно только процентов на 23,7. Он сейчас ищет корабль и скоро должен ко мне присоединиться. Мне только надо знать, куда его отправить. Дай знать, когда получишь сообщение, скорее бы все закончить. Да, я уже это все прочитал, не сыв компот. Тебя надо было проверить. Уходим. Так, ладно, тогда оружием займемся попозже тогда. Я думаю, сейчас отправимся Оружие бездны. На страже здоровья. На сыле, да? Доктор Дорсет. Что капитан Ирион. Пустышка. Ой. На ссылу, я думаю, попозже отправимся тогда. А вначале отправимся на Монарх. Уменьшающий пистолет. Такая, по-моему, хрень. Это надо постоянно переключаться между оружиями. Ну, я так понял, мы уменьшаем, а потом обычным оружием добиваем. Попробуем.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Так, это мне нужно лететь на Монарх. Сыла. Ну, давай, пошли. Так, посадочная площадка Stellar Bay, давай.
Captain, an unusual wavelength is coming through Monarch's aether wave frequencies.
The eternal is in us all. The OSI would have you believe that your place in society, indeed in the universe, is preordained. A man who works in the mines of Hephaestus, coating his lungs in mercury dust for not but a few bits a night. This fate is set in stone? When he dies young, coughing up black blood, his part in the grand plan? No, I say. Greatness is in everyone. Not just those so fortunate as to have been born into prosperity.
That was unexpected and odd. Analyzing the subtextual ordering. I believe it was a type of sermon, Captain. Very zealous in origin. Of course. What part of the colony would you like to discuss? Ah, yes. As Dr. Wells is a wanted outlaw, he built his laboratory into an asteroid. Orbital destinations can be challenging to land on. His more so than most. The outlaw scientist known as Dr. Phineas V. Wells has taken a measure of precautions to make the lab undetectable to those hunting him. Even knowing the location, my systems resist my orders to go where I instruct them. There is a bounty on his head, one with a markedly high reward amount. Shall I engage the laser weapons system? A sensible choice, as we do not have any laser weapons.
Боевые лазеры.
May luck be with you. Of course, as I am sure you are aware, luck...
Так, это она уже говорила. Хорошо, пошли тогда сюда. Возьмем с собой викария и возьмем Элли. Робота брать не будем. У него ж не будет никакого дополнительного задания здесь. От себя лично. А у этих товарищей может быть. С Парвати я уже, в принципе, сайт-квест ее, я так понял, выполнил. Так, приз получен. Рыба в мутной воде. Это, видимо, по сюжету я пришел на Монарх. Надо осмотреться. Вообще большое место. Подожди, это что такое? А, то есть здесь есть локальный, а есть район. Ну, такой же, как все остальные. Небольшой, не маленький. Нормальный. Возможно, что здесь будет много активностей. Посмотрим. Stellar Bay. Так, это посадочный модуль. Алло? Грим? А можно мне как-то... Подожди. Может тут? Во.
Hey, hold on there. I gotta sign you in. Don't think I've seen you around. That means you must be new to Stellar Bay. You are new here, right? I knew it. See, I made what you'd call a logical deduction. You must have seen those UDL gunships on your way in. There's only 3 of them these days. Still, they tend to scare folk off. Wish more folk could say that. Gets awful quiet guarding a landing pad that never gets used. You may not have heard, you being new, but Stellar Bay hardly ever gets off-world traffic, us being cut off by the board and all. Which means I never get to do this part, but I've been practicing, so here goes. On behalf of Monarch Stellar Industries, welcome to Stellar Bay, home of the freshest sal tuna and halcyon. Please state your name for the records. Swell. There's one for the logs. I'm even gonna give you your own entry code. I'm not supposed to do that. It's against procedure, but Mr. Sanjar isn't so strict about the rules here. Besides, I got a lot of empty entries to fill. We don't get ship traffic in town. Only off-worlders who do make it out here are sublight. They got a base in Fallbrook. And thank the stars for them, or we would have run out of Rizzo's Purple Berry Crunch years ago. Mr. Sandra will be mighty pleased to meet you. If you see him over at headquarters, maybe you could tell him I did a bang-up job of welcoming you? Oh, and if you're headed that way, maybe you could do me a favor? I got this Rizzo's Rangers Tossball poster coming in on the next sublight shipment, signed by the Black Hole himself. Only I haven't heard anything in a while. You think you could check with Celia to see if it's come in? That's Bertie Holcomb, only one of the greatest tossball hackers ever. Everyone's heard of him, even on Monarch. We still get some of the games. You been living in a sulfur pit or something? On account of him being the best hacker who ever played, nothing gets by him. He sucks up every ball that comes his way. Well, Holcomb's had a lot of nicknames over his career. Used to be the tallywhacker on account of what he'd do to the score. Before that, he was the slick stick, because his shots were always so smooth. I swear I'm not. At the start of his career, people called him the hack boss, but no one thought that was very catchy. Thanks a bunch. Celia works for Mr. Sanjar in the MSI building next to the bar. She's always there, so you can't miss her.
Яхт-клуб.
What are the chances of all the times and places we could have been born?
Yeah.
We're here, light years from Earth, going about our lives.
Every time the punch clock peals, a worker earns his meals.
What are you talking about?
Sorry, I thought you were quoting It's a Wonderful Directorate.
Ну, прекрасное начальство.
Well, well. Isn't often we see new folk in Stellar Bay. First drink's on me, stranger. Enjoy. If you plan on sitting through Nioka's stories, you might could use a few.
I could use a few and telling them myself.
Now what can I do for you? Not since Amber Heights. These days we have more leaving than coming. Off to join the Iconoclasts or some such. Bunch of marauders broke into the executive compound, slaughtered everyone. Corporations pulled out of Monarch not long after. I thought everyone knew. But then that was 10 years ago. Still feels fresh to us every time we look at our walls, though. Anyone who spends any amount of time in this bar is bound to get to know Ниока, on account of her being here so often herself. And I don't mean that unkindly. Anyone who's rid us of as many beasts as you have is entitled to a few drinks. Something else I can do for you? Thought it had a fancy ring to it. Name's the first advertising anyone sees, after all. Nope. But a man can dream.
And the little bastard's slippery, right? On account of its blood, so it's sliding. All over the place, trying to crawl away. Getting so I can't tell the blood from the mud. But I gotta get in there, get right in that baby rap's stomach and dig it out. If so much as a drop of stomach acid got on that medallion, shit, I don't know what I'd do. Might be I'd hunt every damn rapt out there. Right. What are you staring? Wait. You ain't from around here. Who are you? If you think this is drunk, I gotta, you need to get out more. Sit, partake, buy me a drink and let's chat. Outstanding! What are you doing in Stellar Bay, stranger? Well. Let's get down to brass nuts then, shall we? Wait, that ain't it. Brass rats? Let's talk business. I'm headed back out there after I sober up. You want a guide sooner than that? You'll have to get me something to clear my head. More than you have, I suspect. I plan to sit here and drink until I find myself awoken sober. Outstanding! Our dispensary here maintains a stock of, well, I don't rightly know what they are. Steroid or caffeine somethings? Pills. They're very good. I'm cut off for the month, on account of needing one just about every damn day. But I'm sure you've got your wily ways. Fetch me one and we'll be all set. Well, they work. We got a deal or what?
Вот дебилка вообще. Это ж надо. Кофейной дохерачит. Ебобо вообще. Ладно, пошли медпункт. Слушай, а городок такой не маленький. Монарх. Так, Stellar Bay.
Velma seem out of sorts to you? She's always cranky. No, I mean, more than usual. Wouldn't know. I made it a point to stay out of her way.
Ну да, довольно большое место. Я так понимаю, это и есть медпункт. Фредерик Холстед. Да, проходи ты.
If Velma's capable of running the warehouse, she can certainly pick up her own caffeinoid.
Don't be so hard on her. With Brax missing, she's working doubles and needs a little edge.
Very well, dearie. But you stop by any time you like, hmm?
Thanks, I'll keep that in mind. Sorry, I've got to get back to the warehouse.
А ты чё к молодым лезешь?
Hello, dearie. Why, I don't believe I've seen you before. And with sweet cheeks like those,
Извращенка
I'd
старая.
remember.
Quite the bedside manner, lady.
Well, it's so rare I get the pleasure of new company. What can Auntie Abigail do for you? She works over at the fishery next door. Quite the hard worker, but she's got a bit of a temper. Why, just the other day, I heard her shouting from here. I can't imagine what set her off. Oh, but here I go again, running my mouth when it's none of my business. Was there something else you needed? And what a helpful young man you are. Nothing like a little pill to liven up the spirits.
Whiskey helps, too.
Please leave medical advice to the professionals. Now, dearie, who's this pickup for? I'm so sorry, but with the iconoclasts and the marauder filth chasing away what little trade we get, I'm afraid I have to reserve my supply for Stellar Bay residents. Our reserves have gotten so low, I've even had to start locking the supply room upstairs. Isn't it a shame what some people will do to get a little extra? Aren't you a naughty boy? There are no discounts here, but Auntie knows what to do with mischievous men like you.
Что? Что?
Oh, I'd have to talk to Mr. Nandi about you, of course. Anyway, is there anyone else needing a pickup from Auntie Abigail?
Don't blame me if I puke on your shoes.
Aren't you a saucy thing? I may not be a fresh young thing anymore, but with age comes
Кошмар.
experience, dearie. Much as I'd love to, my rheumatism is especially fierce at the moment, and I'm all out of my medicine. But I'd hate to send you away empty-handed. You were here for caffeinoid, weren't you? Who's it for? Oh, her. It's none of my business, but I have told her Dr. Williams would bump up her monthly allotment if only she'd join MSI. Contribute like the rest of us. Now I've gone and said too much. And you know me, dearie. I don't like to pry. If so, I would love to know where. Sublight supplies don't come cheap.
I'd hope not. Fleecing's the mark of a real professional.
Believe me, there's nothing I'd love better than to help you. But there's not much I can do. Dr. Williams managed the town's allotments from his terminal upstairs. Even I can't access them.
Блин.
In the town graveyard, I'm afraid. Poor man was always searching for the flower of enlightenment. On the way, he tried some rather daring substance combinations. It's a philosophist symbol of some kind, dearie. Never you mind. The graveyard's near the southern ruins. You're certainly welcome to pay our respects, but the bodies tend to attract beasties. Do be careful. I'd hate for anything to happen to you, dearie.
Блин.
Chin up, dearie.
Понятно. Так, ну понятно. Придется пилить на кладбище, видимо.
Could I get another advance, Mr. Nandi?
Just make sure it's properly logged.
I'll note it next to the others, sir. Greetings, and welcome to Monarch Stellar Industries, producers and purveyors of the finest salt tuna in Halcyon. What can I do for you today? You know, sending you is the first bright idea I've seen from that man, because I told him to stop bothering me about it a week ago. I still don't know anything about it, but if you want to help him, Velma's the one to ask. She's in the warehouse. But I'll warn you, Grim wore her patience thin a long time ago. Not at all. Mr. Nandi treats us all right and pays us well. I just spent most of my paycheck on Raptidon acid. Laws, no. Sometimes it's canid teeth, or mantis worm wings. Whatever Sebastian has in stock, really. Oh, I don't need any of it. It's also I can talk to Sebastian. He doesn't get going about much else. Sort of the strong, silent type.
Yes.
Unfortunately, my apartment's kind of filling up with his stuff, and some of the neighbors are complaining about the smell. I couldn't. What if he says no?
Еще одна ебанашка.
Hey, maybe you could ask him for me.
Ага, может
I mean, I
поцеловать
know
его
it'd
вместо
still be
тебя.
bad, but it won't be quite as embarrassing if you ask. Oh, Mr. Nandi's doing that thing where he breathes through his nose real slowly. I'd better get back to work. He doesn't talk much, but he's got this quiet intensity, you know? Like there's stuff going on inside his head that you have no idea about. Plus, he's got great legs. It's hard to find a man who doesn't skimp on lower body exercises.
Good to have standards, I guess.
I know what I'm looking for. Not in Stellar Bay. Everyone else who isn't taken either smells like salt tuna or they're my boss. Besides, a man with a good smile and a proportionate upper to lower body ratio isn't something to pass up. You think that's what I'm looking for? You're funny. Sorry, sometimes I get carried away.
Well, new business turns up at last. Celia, didn't I tell you our new statistics-based advertising model would be a hit?
That you did, sir.
How can yield improvements of 26.7% not quicken the pulse? How can 32% cost savings not moisten the loins?
You've often posed these very questions.
Clear my schedule. This newcomer has a meeting with me.
You'd be a hit in Byzantium.
Did you hear that power play, Celia? They don't make them like this anymore in Halcyon. I only hope you don't judge me by my handshake. Now, what business brings you here? What a charming notion. One doesn't meet many free spirits in Halcyon. Not outside Tartarus prison, anyway. Forgive me, I'd be positively enraptured. Only, I take it this means you aren't here for Saltuna. Yes, that's it. Channel your anger. I only wish I could do the same. I had hoped that livening up our advertisements with enticing figures would draw the other corporations back to our bosom, but it seems we're back to the drawing board. Surviving alone isn't as easy as it looks. Thanks to the so-called hazard clause, Monarch has been cut off from the board's resources and protection for 10 years now. Now, we've kept ourselves in business by trading with individual corporations, but given the off-the-books nature of those transactions, such arrangements are precarious.
Exactly what I would have said, if I'd been paying attention.
You talk like Graham.
Freedom always sounds nice, doesn't it? It makes a rather pretty slogan. But if you sit down and tally up the costs, how you provide for yourself in the absence of aid, how you protect yourself from a hostile galaxy, it starts to lose its shine.
Exactly. Intellectualism fuels the train to mankind's future, but the tracks the train runs on are forged from practicality.
What?
Yes, it's as though the good vicar has plucked the very words from my brain.
Indeed. Mr. Nandi here has a rather ingenious plan to get MSI restored to the board.
On our terms, mind you.
Ingenious plan? Don't get me wrong, I'm starting to admire your sand, but I bet you could overcomplicate a sisty sandwich.
What a charmingly roguish turn of phrase. Allow me to express my thanks at your confidence and assure you that my plan is indeed sufficiently complicated.
And if our advertising scheme hasn't borne fruit, then perhaps it's time we took matters into our own hands.
It's true, our Celia is an alarmingly competent middle manager. At any other company, she'd be wasted in data entry. The plan she refers to is a two-pronged approach, and the first part involves seeing Stellar Bay properly defended. Not long, but the devil is always in the details. And the salient detail here is a Bolt 52 cartridge. If you can get us what we need to rejoin the board, starting the Bolt 52, we'll be able to become one of the most productive and secure cities in Halcyon.
And you'll have a powerful ally on the board.
Why, one of the strongest defenses in Halcyon. An extremely powerful ordnance.
Never realized fighting the bureaucracy could be this interesting.
It is quite the rush. In the old arms building southwest of town, which used to be part of Stellar Bay before we had to move our walls in, these days it's overrun with marauders and raptidons. Do be careful. I've lost more than a few people to marauders and raptidons out there. Oh, and while you're at it, there should be a terminal in the arms building with some dangerous information. Perhaps you could delete it so it doesn't fall into the wrong hands. What can I do for you? Then it's good that I keep such meticulous notes. I've asked myself the same thing many times, especially seeing as the legal mechanisms we employed were part of the board's own bylaws. Not intentionally, though that's technically true. For many years, this planet was home to as many corporations as Terra 2. But back then, it was known as Terra 1. Really? I always thought they were refreshingly straightforward names. After all, the whole point of terraforming was to make them Earth-like.
Here, though, the results were mixed.
And as the other corporations began to tally their losses, they decided to pull out. Our leadership at the time certainly wanted to.